All right, something that small business owners want to know is how do tax deductions work for small businesses? This is extremely important because when we're talking about tax deductions, we're talking about putting a lot of extra money in your pocket. So you want to make sure that you pay close attention to this. In this video, you'll see that there really are two different tax codes. You'll learn the true impact of deductions on your overall income. I'll share with you my absolute favorite section of the tax code. You'll understand what a tax deduction is and how it works. You'll understand what to do, and perhaps more importantly, what not to do when it comes to tax deductions. One of the things that I share with people on a regular basis, whenever I'm speaking at seminars or just talking with clients, maybe it's on a phone call in my office, is that you need to recognize and realize that there really are two different tax codes. There's one for individuals and there's one for businesses. Now, when I talk about individuals, what I mean personal. When you're filing your personal tax returns, it's a totally different set of rules than it is for businesses. If you have a business, you're going to file a different tax return and you're going to abide by different laws. Well, I got to tell you something right now. There is discrimination. The system is rigged, absolutely, completely rigged in favor of one versus another. Now, what's your guess? Is it rigged in favor of us as individuals, or do you suppose maybe it's rigged in favor of businesses? Well, if you guess businesses, you're absolutely right. Well, because of that, we need to learn how deductions work and how we can take advantage of them for our small business. Now, the first thing we've got to take a look at is how do taxes actually work? Well, remember I said there's two different, basically, methods, two different tax codes, if you will. Well, it's two different processes. Think about it this way. As individuals, it works like this. We make money, we pay taxes on that money, we get to spend what's left over. Now, question, what if there's not enough left over after we make the money and pay taxes on it to take care of all of our wants and needs? Well, who suffers? Who has to sacrifice? Well, as individuals, we do. Essentially, we get to spend what's left over. The government gets paid first. You see, that's a key distinction right there. Now let's take a look at businesses. The way it works for businesses is businesses make money, they spend whatever business expenses they have, and then they pay taxes on what's left over, if there's anything left over. Now, here's the thing. After we've taken care of all of our wants and needs, ordinary and necessary business expenses, which we'll be talking about, the government gets a portion of what's left over. Well, what if there's not enough left over? What if there's not any left over? Who suffers? Who has to sacrifice? Well, that's going to be the government. Do you see the difference? In one scenario, the government gets paid first, and in the second scenario, for businesses, you get paid first. Now, which one would you rather be? An individual where you are having to pay first and the government gets paid first, or would you rather do it like a business where you get paid first and the government gets paid maybe if there's anything left over? Well, the great thing for us is that we have that choice, but you've got to exercise your choice right there. You've got to take action because it doesn't just happen. You've got to take steps to make sure that you are not discriminated against, but discriminated in favor of. That's what this is all about. Okay, so let's take a look now at what I refer to as my favorite section of the entire tax code, and that is section 162. Now, why of all the different tax code sections would this be my favorite? Well, I think partly because of how broad it is and how much discretion it gives us and how much benefit we get through this particular section. You see, section 162 essentially says all ordinary and necessary business expenses are deductible. Notice what I just said there. Ordinary and necessary. Well, if this is a business that is an ordinary expense for our business, it's deductible. If it's necessary for our business, it's deductible. Let's compare and contrast that to us as individuals. You remember I said there are two different tax codes, basically, one for individuals, one for businesses. And I also said the system is rigged in favor of businesses against individuals. Part of the reason for that is that process that we talked about, but it's also this right here. All ordinary and necessary business expenses are deductible. There is no tax code section that says all ordinary and necessary personal expenses are deductible. See, think about that. Think about the pure discrimination right there. So basically, if we look at this, you as an individual, we have certain needs, certain essentials, the necessities in life. Food, clothing, and shelter. If you rent your house, is that deductible to you as an individual? No. Now, if your business rents a house or rents an office because it has to have a place to live, is that deductible for the business? Oh yeah. Okay, well wait a second. Now let's say we want to get outlandish. We would actually like utilities. Let's say we want electricity. Let's say we want water. Let's say we need gas. Okay, are those things deductible to you as an individual? Oh no. Again, are they deductible to the business? Absolutely. Okay, well then let's say that maybe we want internet access. Is that deductible for you as an individual? No. Deductible for a business? Oh yeah. Let's say we want a computer or a phone to use for ourselves personally. Deductible? No. Deductible for a business? Absolutely. Now, what if we just wanted things such as, snacks? We wanted to have some snacks, maybe that just because I need some protein bars. Is that deductible for us as individuals? No. If we have that at the office, is that deductible? Yes. So you start looking at some of these things. So food, clothing, and shelter. Okay, our clothes as individuals. Deductible? No. Now in certain instances, if you have a uniform for your work, is that deductible? Absolutely. You see, that's food, clothing, and shelter, but then you start going, what about travel? If we want to travel as individuals, is that deductible? No. For a business, as long as it's ordinary and necessary, it's deductible. You see, businesses have to travel. You have to attend conferences. You have to go to various events. You have to go meet clients. All of that is deductible to you as a business owner. It's not deductible to you as an individual. You've got to ask yourself, which one would I want to be? Continue operating as an individual or have that business so now you have a wide array of deductions? Well, that's up to you. We have to learn how to do it. You see, and by learning how to do it, you can transform your financial situation. You can build a vast amount of wealth for yourself because now you have more assets to grow. You see, these are the types of strategies that we cover on this YouTube channel. So if you have not had an opportunity to do so yet, be sure to like and subscribe to this so you'll be notified whenever we come out with a new video because we want to share information that can impact your bottom line. Now, the next strategy I want to talk to you about is changing the type of dollars you spend. For some of you, you may be thinking, change the type of dollars I spend. Are you talking about like changing to pesos or changing to Canadian dollars? No, I'm saying change the nature of what you're spending. And what I mean by that is this right here. You need to stop paying for things with after-tax dollars and start paying for things with before-tax dollars. Translation, you need to maximize your deductions. You see, again, the way the process works is that as individuals, we make money, we pay taxes on that money, we get to spend what's left over. Those are our after-tax dollars. Well, with businesses, they make money, they spend it on whatever's ordinary and necessary for the business under Section 162 of the tax code, and then they pay a portion of what's left over. You see, they're not paying for things with after-tax dollars, they're paying for things with before-tax dollars. The power of this is tremendous because what we're looking at is we're getting a deduction on everything that we spend, and basically it's like a discount. Let's think about it. If you're in a 20, 25, 30, 40% tax bracket, depending upon all the different taxes that are involved, anytime you pay for something with before tax dollars, that's like you get a discount of whatever percent your tax bracket was going to have to pay. Think about that. Every day, everything you buy is on sale. Rather than flocking to the stores on these 10% off sales days, who cares? Every day is X percent off day when you're a business. It's the different way of doing things. We changed the type of dollars that we are spending. Stop spending after-tax dollars, start spending before-tax dollars. I promise you, it will completely change your financial life. Now I gotta tell you, I am completely opposed to discrimination. I think discrimination is abhorrent. But what I do want to make sure that we understand is that part of what I don't like is different classes being discriminated against. Well, that's exactly what's happening here, is that because we're individuals, we get discriminated against. If we would change our class and become a business, now the discrimination is in our favor. That's not how all discrimination works, but it's how it works right here. The great thing about it is that we have the ability to take advantage of this. Because we have the ability to take advantage of this, I firmly believe that everyone needs to have a business entity to operate some sort of a business. Now, whether you are a professional, Whether you're an independent contractor, maybe you're a consultant, maybe you have a side hustle. Whatever that is, you need to make sure that you establish a legal entity for that, because the other great benefit is that the discrimination continues. Audit rates for individuals are much higher than they are for businesses. Does that sound crazy, or does that sound crazy? But it's reality. Once again, we stand a much greater risk of being audited when we have far more restrictions on us than do the businesses that get all the benefits. All I can say is that that's the world we live in. Well, we've got to adapt to that world, and we've got to maximize our deductions. When you have a small business, the world is wide open to you for business deductions. You need to seize those opportunities. Well, that's part of what we help you to do. We have a tremendous opportunity, absolutely free of charge, for you to meet with one of our tax professionals to explore opportunities for you. And again, free of charge, you get to meet with one of our tax professionals to identify potential deductions, how you might be paying too much, and how you can stop paying so much and put more money in your pocket. To take advantage of that, again, free of charge, all you have to do is click the link below and schedule an opportunity to meet with one of our tax professionals. I promise you, you'll be glad you took advantage of it. I'm JJ Childers. I look forward to seeing you in our next video.